How many of you have heard someone say, the system doesn't work? I've said it, my parents have said it, friends, neighbors, everyone. In fact, I've heard it so many times, I'm just waiting for the day my cat meows it at me. And we say it pretty often, when we watch the news, when paperwork piles up, and especially in the line at the municipality, when we hear those famous words, "You're missing one paper." We start to picture the system as a giant, outdated machine, cold, locked, and running on a password we'll never get. I used to imagine the system as a tall building in Sarajevo. Endless files, heavy doors, decisions made far away from us, untouchable. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? It took me some years and experience to realize that the system isn't just some giant machine. It is actually two things: people and rules. And once you learn the rules, name the owner, and act lawfully at a small scale, things start to shift from the inside. That practice is what I like to call civic hacking. It is a practical, inventive mindset open to everyone. Project managers, community organizers, storytellers, me, you, everyone. Yet, for many, it doesn't really feel that way. An analysis conducted by the Institute for Youth Development, CULT, found that 6 out of 10 young people in Bosnia and Herzegovina feel they have little to no impact on local decisions. 6 in 10. When this belief sinks in, we stop trying. We scroll, complain, roll our eyes, but what we don't do is participate. Every unanswered email, every long line whispers, "You don't matter here." The less we interact, the stronger the illusion becomes. And the less we get involved, the less the system feels like ours. So, how do we break the spell? Let me paint you a picture. My journey into civic engagement started back in high school with a local NGO and a group of friends. We planned a small event called New Year's for Children. Decorations, games, music, we had it all. But then came the questions. Do we need a permit? Whose approval? In the middle of the meeting, someone said, "We can't do that. It's against the regulation." And I remember asking, which regulation exactly? Silence. That was my first real hack. Not breaking a rule, but learning one. We looked up the clause, adjusted the plan, and the event happened. The system wasn't blocking us. It was actually just sleeping. Since then, in youth organizations and legal settings, I've seen the same pattern. The system isn't always resisting. More often, it is just waiting for someone who knows when to tap enter and type the next line. After that, I stopped taking no as final and started looking for the rule that says it. If the system is often asleep, the cure is procedural. And that's where something I call the code loop comes in. 4 small steps to wake the system up. Let's spell it out. C stands for clarify the rule, meaning trade rumors for actual text. Find and quote the exact clause. All laws are public, and you don't need a law degree to read them. For example, Article 12 allows events up to 200 people with a notice, not a permit. O stands for owner map. Find who really decides and when, who signs, who drafts, and who moves the file. For example, student affairs drafts, The Senate votes on the third Thursday, and Secretary Hana receives proposals. D stands for doorways. Use the legal doors that are already half open. Attend a public hearing, join a discussion, or simply sign a petition to get the issue on the agenda. And lastly, E stands for execute small. Run a tiny reversible test and learn from the result. For example, a one-day pilot with capped attendance can turn into a one-page memo within 7 days. Run code once for something small. Run it again next month. Line by line, you start to rewrite how things work. And it's not about coding or breaking rules. It is about learning how the rules work and using it to make real, lawful change. And it's not only doable in theory. Young people have been doing this for years now. Now, I want you to think of 3 quick snapshots: Lana, Marco, and Amina. Lana is a student. She read the university statute, found a committee that could amend it, collected signatures, and submitted a clear edit. It passed. Marco is a junior lawyer. He spotted a gap in the municipal bylaw and filed a complaint motion. Someone who would have fallen through the cracks didn't. And finally, there is Amina. Amina is a volunteer. She built a simple form that routed neighborhood problems to the correct office. For the first time, people got real answers. So, what do our 3 imaginary heroes have in common? None of them broke the system. They worked with it, creatively, ethically, and effectively. That is what civic hacking looks like in real life. And the best part is, anyone can do it. You don't need a title or a big platform. Just curiosity and 2 simple questions. What says no, and who really decides? Systems, of course, don't change overnight. Some rules are slow. Lethargy exists. But disengagement guarantees nothing changes. Participation, even small and at a local level, shifts outcomes. Keep the scope lawful, specific, and documented. If a path is blocked, pick a smaller doorway and run the code again. We say they, as if systems run on strangers. But systems run on people. People who once asked a question, joined a discussion, or simply raised a hand. Every time you vote, volunteer, sign a petition, or submit a proposal, you write 1 line of code. Line by line by line, you start to rewrite how things work. And a system that felt run by them starts to feel like a system run by us. Systems rarely evolve from the top down, but they do evolve when people at every level decide to log in. I used to imagine the system as a tall, cold building in Sarajevo. Now, I see source code, and it's written by people. Democracies, institutions, school systems do not auto-update. They depend on the people who read the manual, ask the question, and tap enter on something new. So, don't wait for someone else to fix it. Learn it, question it, change 1 line, and run the code loop we learned today. Because the system changes only when you decide to log in. You're not the system until you hack it from the inside. And it's not even that hard. Thank you.